na small wisdom. Sounds mighty fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Before una go talk, say our smile no reach. Make una think I'm twice so.
Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics, live on Channels Television. I am Shalwe, the Sunday live for you in Abuja. Let's tell you about some of the developments in the country. First and foremost, let me let you know about the ADC, the African Democratic Congress planned National Convention, which has now been slated for the 14th of April 2026, that's Tuesday. The party says that it will conduct the convention and listed members of, or constituted members of the planning committee, the convention committee, and other committees responsible for carrying out that exercise. It appears that it will be the same day that the hearing of the party's matter as instituted by Senator David Mark at the Supreme Court will be heard to determine what has become a major crisis within the party. We now understand that there is another exit in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, as Mr. Hayatuddin has now resigned his membership of the party and is announced that he's joined the African Democratic Congress. He made that known in a statement released earlier today. Nigeria's electoral umpire is under scrutiny, not for what happened at the ballot box or at the polls, but for what may have happened online. Allegations surrounding past social media activity linked to INEC chairman Professor Joash Amupita are raising questions and concern about neutrality, perception, and public trust. In an era where digital footprints are permanent, questions are emerging about whether past online activity, real or misattributed, can undermine confidence in public institutions. At the center of this storm, claims amplified through open source investigations by Nigerians and citizens online. First, let me show you where the controversy really began, with claims circulating on social media alleging that accounts linked directly or indirectly to the INEC chairman engaged in politically suggestive commentary in the past. Some posts now widely shared appear to express views aligned with certain political actors, raising concerns among opposition parties and civic groups. The scrutiny traces a Yahoo Mail address said to match one listed on Professor Amupita's Public University of Jos curriculum vitae, along with an associated phone number to an formerly Twitter account that posted, quote, "Victory is sure," in a response to a March 18, 2023 tweet by Adebayo Israel, APC national youth leader. Israel's post had celebrated the APC's success in flipping a polling unit in an Igbo-dominated area during the 2023 elections. The alleged response is being presented as clear evidence of partisan alignment, directly contradicting repeated claims that the INEC chairman is apolitical. Well, that particular tweet may have been removed, or the handle which tweeted it at the time may have been changed. So screenshots of the interaction have now circulated widely, with indications that the account was subsequently renamed or taken private, further intensifying scrutiny of the alleged digital trail. INEC has issued a categorical denial describing the allegation as entirely baseless, as a total fabrication and a figment of the imagination of the purveyors. Now, take a look at this. What makes this case different is the method, the open source intelligence which citizens have now put into it. And you will see a former Twitter staff, according to him, says that the account or the origin of the account and as it was owned is similar and has similar origin. Well, investigators, many of them ordinary citizens, have been analyzing archived posts, usernames, timestamps, and network interactions to trace patterns. Now take a look at this one. Some analysis suggests that digital interactions between the alleged account and known political actors within the ruling party ecosystem. However, no official confirmation has established direct or ownership or control of these accounts by the INEC chairman coming from the engine itself, which is Twitter. But this AI tool is being used to ask for the history and investigate what has happened. Well, INEC has dismissed the allegation, describing them as misleading and lacking evidence. The chairman himself has denied any partisan involvement, reaffirming his commitment to neutrality. Well, netizens are using the XAI, that's the Twitter AI. The online investigators try to trace or establish link to the original account before the said change of the account. A member of the APC equally tried it, and the link controversies went deeper. And this was Bashir Ahmed, who tweeted and said, "This is what exactly happened," and trying to use Grok to find out. But well, if you look at it deeply, the scrutiny traced a Yahoo Mail address said to match one of Professor Amupita's on his CV in the University of Jos, along with an associated phone number listed on his Yahoo account to the formerly Twitter account that posted "The victory is sure" in a response to Adebayo Israel's tweet of 2023, which you can see on the screen. All of these are now made public online, which is available for anyone to scrutinize or look further into. But these are what citizens online of Nigeria have put up. digging deeper into past and what they find out as a linkage between the owners of the account or the person who opened the account, the associated email, the number, the phone numbers, the public document of Professor Amupiton, and how all of this linked. But INEC has come and maintained that Professor Amupiton does not own or operate any account on X and has never engaged partisan commentary in all of what he has done in the past and has remained non-partisan throughout his career. Opposition parties are now convinced by all what we have seen online, and some are calling for an independent investigation, others for resignation or removal. They argue that perception alone could damage electoral credibility ahead of future polls in a digital age where past polls can resurface at any time. Personal history and public accountability in an increasingly blurred environment. For Nigeria's electoral body, the bigger question may be this: can trust be sustained amid unresolved doubts? Well, there's also people that are putting the perspectives to it, that what Dayo Israel was making reference to is the victory of the party in a so-called Igbo-dominated polling unit. And it's been said that that victory is assured is an endorsement of that statement, maybe against certain ethnic group in the country. And all of these controversies need to be scrutinized because the position of the INEC chairman is very critical. Whether or not all these are true, the online open source investigation that citizens have brought up raises a critical question. The demand by opposition that this man must go or must be removed, how critical or how relevant is that? If he's removed, who replaces him? Constitutionally, how is an INEC chairman being appointed? How does he get removed? Is it weighty enough as an allegation to remove him? What is the process of removal? Some other says in other climes, these kind of allegations will have caused the INEC chairman to resign. But we are Nigerians. We are in Nigeria. He has denied that he doesn't. There are linkages to him, his email, and all whatnot. In fact, some people have used that same phone number to pay in an OPay account, which usually register, link your phone number, make it your account number. There's a whole lot of digging that has been done in this. Well, we've seen a statement by Mr. Bolaji Abdullah indicating that there are different reasons, and a lot of them, that INEC chairman should resign. And it's understandable that the ADC has a deeply rooted allegations and grievances against the INEC chairman, considering the statement made about the leadership of the INEC chairman. But I have to now, not just because he's in the opposition party, his name was on the ballot the last time around. But I'm also inviting him because of his legal understanding and knowledge. The possibility that he may be on the ballot, and it's critical for him to lend his voice in this one. You might have seen his face a couple of times in the past days on China's television, but it's important for him to weigh in on this program tonight. ADC has made it known, but Mr. Prince Adebayo is live for us. He's the 2023 presidential candidate of the SDP. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thanks to see you again, Shehu.
Appreciate it.
Happy Sunday, and may God bless Nigeria.
Absolutely, may God bless Nigeria. I took my time to collate all what open source investigation by, they call them netizens, Nigerians, on the citizens on the net that are put together, and perhaps gives you a breakdown of what really went down and whether or not whatever goes on online and all those things that are being dug up are enough to incriminate Professor Amupiton. But what's your own summary and assessment of what this controversy has been?
Okay, there are a number of things at stake, and it depends on what cap you are wearing. And incidentally, it's an irony that Professor Amupiton has been teaching evidence law for a long time. And one of the innovations in Nigeria law of evidence is digital evidence. In the past, when people like us were studying law, digital evidence was almost impossible because the old Electoral Evidence Act did not have room for digital evidence.
Section 84.
Now, so the first thing is, what is the quality of the evidence that the post being displayed is actually digitally traceable to Professor Amokusan? That is what a forum will look into. It is well known that in the digital space, you could manipulate anything, but there's a forensic tracing of the identity. So I don't have enough evidence at hand. I haven't seen a forensic report suggesting that beyond all reasonable doubt that he posted that post. The jury is still out on that, and anyone who has a way to demonstrate it to bring it forward. But now the question is, in what forum are you going to demonstrate that? Is that someone will go to court to say that he's not qualified because it's partisan, and this is the evidence? So a court of law will give him an opportunity to defend that. Or if we follow the Constitution, the National Assembly will conduct an investigation, maybe jointly between the House of Representatives Committee on INEC and the Senate Committee on INEC. SDP is represented in the committees, so we will be able to know what happened. Now, the second thing we need to find out is, even if it were true that he at one time did post that tweet, is he automatically disqualifying to be INEC chairman under the law? No. So, under the law, the requirement is that at the time you have been appointed, you should not be a member of any political party. It doesn't mean that you could not have been a member in the past. It doesn't mean that you didn't vote. So a person who voted in 2023 election can become INEC chairman in 2025. So a person who is voting now for one person or the other can still become an INEC official or INEC chairman or commissioner after. So it doesn't mean that a citizen should not have sympathy for candidates. That is the legal requirement. The next thing is boiled down to integrity. The question on many occasions, if you remember why Bill Clinton was impeached. Bill Clinton was impeached and was disbarred, not because he had a relationship with Monica Lewinsky and Intern, because there is no law in the United States that says that the president of the United States cannot have an affair. The problem that Clinton had was that he lied under oath by saying, I don't have anything to do with that woman. Therefore, what is not in doubt is that if the account is traced to Professor Amokusan, then it shows that he is not a person of integrity. If he denies it. If he says, yes, it was my Twitter account, and I like the message, and I Twitter victory is assured, but I'm not a member of their party, I've never joined their party, and I'm capable of being independent. There are people who argue with him and say, well, we don't have confidence in you or whatever, but he will have shown that he's a man of integrity. So, to summarize it, from a legal point of view, the evidence has to be clear. So those who are alleging that it is his account have to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. And where would they prove it? They will have to prove it before an institution. And under the law, there are two institutions that are capable of adjudicating the matter. National Assembly can call him and ask him, swear on oath, he speak to us. If he swears on an oath in front of the National Assembly and continues to maintain his position, and a forensic examination by the National Assembly shows that it's actually his post, he could be removed, not because he posted, but because he's lying to the public. And INEC chairmanship is an office where you are expected to be a person of integrity. But nobody, even though I'm in the opposition, and when Professor Adebayo was appointed, I came on the television and said, I will not have appointed him. He's not my kind of person to appoint, and I don't support the appointment. However, the Constitution says the president, who is a partisan person, is going to be the one to appoint the INEC chairman. Now, he went to Council of State. He went to National Assembly. When it was cleared, I was also in your studios here to complain that the time, the way they rushed his clearance, did not give enough time for us to, given the problematic history of electioneering in Nigeria, the National Assembly did not spend enough time, especially the Senate, to actually question him and speak to him. So, summary of it all is that as I'm speaking here, as a person who is supposed to be truthful and loyal and honest, I am not convinced that Adebayo is the owner of the account, because I know enough in law of evidence and in digital manipulation that there is a possibility that it is not his account. More particularly because even if you go online now, you will see some parody accounts in my name. If you go on X, or formerly known as Twitter, you will see my picture. You will see people posting things in my name, on my behalf, that I don't know anything about.
Right. So
that,
yeah.
Babangida has one, Mandela, anybody has. And then you mention one evidence that they saw an email address that he used on his CV. That evidence is in his favor, which means that email address is public. So anybody who wants to do mischief can say, oh, I know his email address, I will use it. So, but what will be more forensic is if you go to the IMEI ID of the machine used to register, if that machine happens to be his own, that is more, as a digital lawyer, I'll tell you, that is more like it. But you take my email address, you take my telephone number, I have your telephone number, I have your email address, and I have many fine pictures of you, and I put Okimbaloye, and I put everything, and I tweet. Doesn't mean, I'm not saying Adebayo is not the one who did it. I'm just saying that as a lawyer, by law of evidence, there's a possibility that somebody who is a hacker or who is a parody maker can do that. So you can't make serious judgment,
all right,
or with that kind of possible.
So let's go. Interestingly, Professor Adebayo is an evidence
an expert
law
evidence
scholar,
yes.
And he wrote law of evidence theory and practice,
yes.
which is something apart from someone like Professor Ishe Sage, which book on evidence you can make reference to.
Yes.
Adebayo is another authority in law of evidence. Yes, those are authorities that you can make. So he will understand and he knows the consequences and what makes actually evidence law. And interestingly, one of the locus classicals is the case of Trimipe Silva on presenting computer-based evidence, which was a case that Channel Television was directly involved in. So when you're talking about digital computer-based evidence, it goes to the root of how forensic and how deep the investigation would be. But legally speaking, you've given us the procedure and the protocol in which, if there is going to be a remover, and are there historical precedent on where appointment of an INEC chairman has been made and there are alleged partisanship that linked to such a person?
let's look at it clearly. In law, partisanship as defined by the Constitution does not include sending a tweet. That's not the standard. The standard is that he must not belong to a political party. They just want him not to be interested in a political party.
So for example,
yes.
now, when President Tinubu won election in 2023, and someone who is said to be made INEC chairman could have said, on your mandate you shall stand, and tweeted that kind of thing, it couldn't be been termed or seen as partisanship.
By law, it's not partisanship. But a good president will not... You know, the president has a duty to set the tone for the country. That's why I said, if I were the president to make the appointment, I will not make a move with him. Not because of partisanship, because of other reasons. Because I know how election management is done. So I wouldn't take him. I will take a different approach to appointment of INEC chairman and the rest of them. But my point is that if we want to apply our law fairly and reasonably, the reason why you can say somebody is partisan, there are two ways. Either you look at their history and look at the constitutional definition of partisanship. You will say this person used to be a member or was active in your party.
A card member
of your party. That's the definition of partisanship. On the other hand,
just like the accusation against Loretta Onoche,
exactly,
when she was appointed.
Exactly. That's the kind of thing. But somebody can be a quiet member of APC or SDP. No tweet, no activity, has a membership card.
Morisiwu was accused.
Morisiwu was a very active member or supporter of SDP, for PDP at that time. And I think Jega was in PRP even at the time. Jega had been a member of PRP before he became INEC chairman. So the point I'm making is that if we are to follow the law, politics is different. If you remove Amuputan today, I'll be happy because I'm an opposition person and I don't like someone to talk about him. So, but the question is, who are you bringing next? So if you tell me you want to remove Amuputan and put another person, I will say, who is that person? If the person is a very qualified, independent, highly credible Nigerian, I will say, okay, I'm happy. But if I am called upon to interpret the law or to speak to the law, I have to realize that it's a responsible position. That interpretation of the law should not be political. The law is clear that the evidence as it is, if Abikweta has said, yes, I was the one who tweeted it, because Dayo Israel, I knew him, he's my friend, and he posted something, I wanted to encourage him, but right now, my work, I'm not partisan against anybody. That, you can't remove him on that basis. But why I'm curious, and why I'm interested in the subject matter is, I want to know whether the INEC chairman is a liar. Because if it is his Twitter account, and he says it is not, then he's a liar. So he has no integrity. So for that reason, I am interested to know whether it is. But I can't assume that it is.
Let me give you the reference here. So, but INEC has denied it. But these are the accusation and the premise in which a lot of people got angry. That yet, assuming that he owned it, or he opened that account in the first instance, the account that said victory is sure. The accusation here is that there's some Nigerians who say would have listened and say, oh, maybe he did that, and there were, now that is non-partisan. But there are accusations to the efforts being made, allegedly, to have gone ahead to now rename it and giving it a Sunday something. And that was when the digging now started. When it was screenshot and it carried his name as Professor Amupitan. And when the digging started or the flag was raised, the account was said to have been removed to read a parody account. But when Grok, the AI, was being asked to dig into it, Grok says, yes, the same account with that username and the new one has the same source.
You see?
And now, just a moment, sir.
Yes.
When the further digging now came up, it now shown that the present account plus the other username had the same origin of email, email that was on his CV and linked to his phone number, which is the phone number that they are linking into. So those are the issues that, yes, he may have made that error. I mean, maybe or not error. He had made that tweet, but now is a totally is seen.
Okay, this is how.
But changing it.
If I was a judge or an investigator, I would start with an open mind. You have to start with an open mind that a man who is sitting down in his office should not, or house, should not run into trouble because somebody decided to do a parody account in their name. It can happen to anyone. Therefore, I will start on the assumption that it might be a parody account. I will give him the benefit of the doubt. There are, as a forensic lawyer, there are two ways to investigate that account. One is to look at it from a digital point of view. You go and trace go deeply and find out the device that was used, the location where it was done. If a man is eventually known to live in Jos, and it teaches in Jos, been living there for a long time, so you will find out the IP address used. Was it opened in Jos, or if you find out now that it was opened in Florida, you know that this man never lived in Florida. That's number one. Then you can also use other circumstantial evidence. You will not isolate only that tweet that is now controversial. You will find out, did they use, while he was bearing that name, Mukpiton something, did they use it to tweet other things? So if that same account, Twitter account, was used by him to do other things that only he can do, for example, announce the graduation of his son, announce the birthday of his wife, congratulated somebody else in the university, does something, you will say, no, this account had other posts that are inexplicably, inexcusably, unambiguously related to you. Because even if somebody hacked and created a parody account, that person will not use that parody account to greet your friend on this day, to post one of your articles that you wrote in a journal. So that investigation can go in that direction. Now, the fact that the account was later changed gave you another opportunity. For example, it was changed recently. What machine did they use to change it? What computer? So because the same people who did the parody account or a third party can still go ahead and change it.
Because it showed that the account was changed to a parody account just when the flag was raised.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is that that gives you another opportunity to trace the person who changed it. Because if the person who changed it works in INEC, is related to INEC, you see the IP, you see the IMEI ID of the computer. So look, it's still back to forensic. But the definition of partisanship is pre-appointment and post-appointment.
So on this kind of basis, if assuming that there is a prima facie evidence established in this matter against Professor Amupiton, based on this digital trail and evidence and forensic that you mentioned, what do you think is the implication?
The implication in law is that he is a citizen of Nigeria, he posted before, doesn't mean he's partisan. But the implication, in effect, is that he ought to resign. Why? Because in a simple matter like this, if you are already lying to the public, and we are waiting for you to determine for us who is going to be our leader and leaders in future, which means that if we can't trust you on this issue of, yes, I tweeted or I didn't tweet, how can we trust you to say this is the result, this is the winner, this is the loser? So that is the integrity, because partisanship, non-partisanship is one requirement under the Constitution. Integrity, impeccable integrity is another requirement. So if the twist it does not meet the test of does not negate non-partisanship as understood by the law, what of integrity? Because if you say you are the one who tweeted it, say yes, I'm the one, but it doesn't mean I support the party, I just tweeted it. That ends it, because they will say, oh, this is a man of integrity, because even when he did something that could be controversial, he admitted as the one. So it turns on whether or not the forensic investigation.
All right.
Will be done. But it also shows to you.
Just for a moment.
Yes.
Yeah. So, invariably, and which is something I'd like you to explain further, that it is too early for ADC and some other persons to be asking Professor Amupiton to resign or to step aside or to be removed.
It's not too early. They are not talking from law. They are talking from their own interests. So anybody can say Amupiton should be removed. That is their right. Like I didn't support his appointment. If I hear that he resigned today, I will not miss anything. The issue is that it is not everybody who is talking from a law or constitutional point of view. Some don't like him. They don't like his prospect. They don't like how he's treating them. So if he runs into trouble, they go, oh, well and good for him. Right. But if we are looking at it from the point of view of what does our constitution say and what should our institutions do in a situation like this. So if National Assembly, for example, are looking away, they're not showing interest, that is very bad. If our DSS and our investigation agencies set up to protect the integrity of institutions of state, if they are not paying attention, then that's not good. Right. If his fellow commissioners in INEC are not calling an internal investigation to ask him clearly, because this kind of thing can cast aspersion on their own job.
Give me a moment, sir. We need to go on a break. Well, but when we come back, there are more diggings to be done. We've got an analyst that will be joining in the conversation, warning controversy may affect public trust in INEC. The debate is now intensifying over electoral independence. We'll be speaking with Mr. Gbenga Shashan, an IT expert, on the issues raised over the online traces and the allegations against the INEC chairman. Trust, integrity, and accountability is very key, they say. We'll be right back.
Improve infrastructure connectivity and innovative ideas that move our people from poverty to prosperity.
From the north to the south, across valleys, rivers, and rising skylines, one name powers it all. Secure, intelligent, and built to last. Nigeria's digital transformation is unfolding before our eyes. We connect governments, empower agencies, and enable service delivery in the private sector, all driven by brilliant minds and bold ideas. Across public and private sectors, governance to learning, e-health to emergency response, we are integrating the systems that drive our progress as a nation. Keep evolving every day, every night, because Nigeria's digital future begins today. Galaxy Backbone, enabling digital services.
And cable, great quality, now with the new look.
Is your building's final line of defense formidable? At Swiss Trade Doors, we have redefined what it means to be truly secured with our doors as guardian masterpieces. Our doors boast of visible protection and are rated to withstand high-caliber threats without compromising a single line of your building's aesthetics. Peace of mind is a true luxury with Swiss Trade Doors. Our 50% discount sales offer is still on, and to buy doors at 50% off, contact us today.
Across Nigeria, from our cities to our communities, the true strength of our nation lies in its people. Every day, millions of hardworking Nigerians contribute to building a better future, driven by resilience, hope, and determination. Working People United is bringing these voices together, creating a platform where every citizen is heard and every contribution counts, bringing together progressive-minded people from organized labor to entrepreneurs both in the formal and informal sector in Nigeria and the diaspora. A movement that believes in the ability of President Bola Tinubu to move Nigeria to a country of our dreams and believe that good things don't come easy. However, the future is bright for Nigeria, and supporting the vision of Bola Ahmed Tinubu for a stronger, more inclusive and prosperous Nigeria. Together we can shape the future. Together we can build a nation that works for all. Working People United, the voice of the people, the force for progress.
So Nigeria's electoral body is facing renewed scrutiny as allegations surface over the past social media activity of INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amupiton. The claims circulating online and now amplified through citizen-led open source investigations have raised questions about neutrality and public trust. The commission has dismissed the allegations, while the chairman himself denies any partisan links, but opposition parties and civic voices are calling for further scrutiny and, in some cases, resignation. Tonight, we're examining the facts, the claims, and what this means for electoral credibility. I'm now being joined virtually by Mr. Gbenga Sheson. He's the Executive Director of Paradigm Initiative and Information Communication Technology expert who has advocated for digital literacy and inclusion in Nigeria and on the continent of Africa. Thanks so much, Mr. Sheson, for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, Shem.
Yes. Prince Adebayo is still with us right here in the studio. Mr. Sheson, I had to call on you because we needed an expert opinion. And in law, when an expert is being called to to testify or to give an expert opinion as an evidence, it means that it goes deeper into looking at the technicality of the issue. And you saw what netizens, Nigerians online, the grievances and the allegations, the back and forth, the debate here and there. In your own analysis as an expert in the field, what do you think really happened, technically speaking?
So, I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because one of the things you want to be sure about with an institution like INEC is that there is no assumption of partisanship. And I think this is the reason why this is very critical. The allegation is that Professor Amupiton had a Twitter account. The counter allegation, the counter, from INEC is that he never had a Twitter account. But, I was minding my business, and then this conversation started on this, and then I got interested. And mostly because INEC denies. Because I've been in Nigeria for a while, and I know that when a public institution denies something, then you have to ask more questions. And I checked. It is not true that there was no Twitter account in that name. 3 things. That's number one. I checked, and anyone can go and check the web archive. Don't forget, this is 2026, not 2023, not 1999. The web archive takes a snapshot of pages on the web such that you can go back in time. It's called the Wayback Machine. You can go back in time and check for conversations that have been happening. And I did find Joash Amupiton, the handle, which of course people have checked and have said now that handle changed. I have also checked to find out who owns the new Twitter handle. He claims to be a hacker. He claims to have found it when he was doing his OSINT, some of his tests and things like that. But it's just so interesting also that in owning this Sunday Vibe 00 account, the person behind that account is a partisan supporter of the APC, which is also funny because you're claiming that, oh, I'm the one who has this account and things like that, and this is another allegation. And I want to also quickly respond to what your guest was saying earlier. You did say, sir, that anybody can get his email address and anybody can get his number. But the reality is that you cannot use anyone's email or phone number to open a Twitter account without getting access to the content of that email or the messages that are sent to that number. What I've also seen, and I didn't spend a lot of time, over the last few hours I checked, and I've seen at least 4 accounts. So if someone is trying to cover the tracks, the person is probably well paid and is doing a good job, because now there are multiple accounts, most of them created in April, one of them now verified. And when you check the history of many of these accounts, you will find that there's a lot of confusion on what they are tweeting. And, I can even give you very practically some of those, Twitter usernames. One of them is Joas, not Joash, Joas with double S-H, Amupiton, pretending. And this one actually follows INEC officially. And, is sharing information as if it's official. The other one is Joshua Mupiton. The other one is Joash Amupiton. And then there is a fourth one, which is verified, which asks the name of the INEC chairman. Now, 2 challenges that we have here. The first challenge is that the denial by INEC falls flat on its face. And it's very unfortunate that this continues with a trend of something going wrong in Nigeria and a public institution rushes out to say that something is not true. Because what you've done is you've now created interest by people like myself and others to go and find out if what you have said here is true or not. What is true, what is a fact, is that an account existed. What is a fact is that that account was traced to email addresses and numbers that are associated with the current INEC chair. Does that mean he opened the account? Maybe someone around him opened it, but for anyone to use your email address and your mobile number to open an account, then they have access to your email and to your mobile number. So maybe we should ask Prof if he lost access to his email and his phone number at some point and someone used that to set him up. Otherwise, there are many questions that INEC has to answer about partisanship and about outright lies by public officials. It is even more shameful when you try to cover an act that everyone could be partisan in the past and change their minds. But when you now outrightly deny and start creating accounts or start trying to, create a cloud, and then somebody comes up and says, I'm a hacker, I'm the one that owns this account, and you clearly, there's a clear connection between this person and the IT agency in Nigeria, and also the, is it called the, I don't even know what they call them now, something Vanguard.
So quickly, you've established some claims, but Prince Adewale, as a lawyer, is saying that there will be some linkage, and he cited 2 examples. He said 2 devices, the IMEI of such devices, the location, the history, past tweets, maybe related and all of that, that would also help in pinning down or establishing a prima facie evidence in that regard. But you've also mentioned and talked about INEC's response. INEC has said, and which you have established, that there are different types of pseudo accounts in the name of Amupiton. But what a lot of Nigerians would like to know is, at the time that Trigo Star, one of the netizens flagged this, and when that account now changed, because that's the issue here, because INEC has said, look, the man does not operate any Twitter account. So there are those who are asking, Is it true that the email and the number linked to the man, are they his or not? They went to his CV, which is submitted when he as a professor in Jos, University of Jos,
yes,
and linked it to a phone number, which are some of the profiling that Twitter or some of these engines will ask you before they open your account. Can you further give us some other insight? For example, and you said that you don't agree with INEC's defense, but can we really say for sure some of these numbers and details of Prof are actually behind this account? The time that they changed the handle, what was the time stamp that you saw there? What did you find out in watching? Because that's the anger in which some people are having. Now, why did you have to go and quickly change the username? That's the allegation here. Is there any correlation?
I mean, the good news is that Twitter has what is called the about information, and you can see if an account has changed handles. Well, let me quickly speak to this INEC. INEC is, maybe I should check if, the reference is to the International Mobile Equipment Identity, INEC. If that is the case, then we're talking about a mobile device, and you don't necessarily need a mobile device to set up a Twitter account. So I honestly am missing what the correlation is between INEC tracking and setting up a Twitter account, which could be done on any kind of device. But having said that, when you see the numbers, when you try to log in with, an email address, you've forgotten what the, open sourced information that we've seen is that people have gone to use that username. When you type in a username and you say you've forgotten your password, it will give you the option to put in the email address that was used to set up that account. If it's a wrong email address, Twitter will tell you immediately, this is wrong. But if it is a correct email address, it will give you the chance, if you've set up two-factor authentication, which basically means that you will do two things before you get access to an account, mostly using a password and then also using, a one-time password sent to your mobile phone, 4 digits or 6 digits numbers, or even 3, or any, series of numbers. Now, what is currently happening with this account, and this should interest you, Sharon, is that anyone who tries that will find out that Twitter is basically saying that there is too much activity on that account. It's either of many things. It's either, many Nigerians are trying to check based on what they've now seen online as a possibility, that, anyone who is trying to defend or, model up this whole thing is making sure that this is actively being done so that no one can check. But there are many ways to check. There can be a legal request to Twitter. And by the way, one of the things that I believe this episode should teach us is process. There are people who believe that the INEC chair is biased and that he needs to resign. I've seen those statements by opposition parties and even by individuals. Then you can legally contact Twitter to say that this is of public interest and there are legal issues involved. Unfortunately, the unit in Twitter that used to do that, the human rights team, was fired by Elon Musk when he started, his own phase. But you can still make a legal request, either as an individual or a member of a security agency. If you belong to a security agency, that's even much easier. You can fill the form, use your official security agency email address, and you will start a legal process. But otherwise, you can do that as an individual or as an institution of interest to ask questions based on accusation that this platform is being misused by this particular individual who has now been hired as the head of the electoral management body. Let me finally say that for the mobile number, and I've seen the documents, I've seen the numbers, and what Twitter doesn't do is to give you the full numbers. So this is why I think it's really critical to follow the conversations and see what people are writing. The email address has been spotted on many, documents, including his resume. The mobile number, the last few digits is what you will see. It will show you everything. And those 2 digits, 99, rhyme with the number that I've been seeing. And, people have even gone as far as, trying to send in money, because what you do is when you put in, someone's mobile number, if they have an OPay account or any other account, or, GT Bank, as I've seen in this case, if you put in that number, it gives you the full name of the person. And the full names that I've been saying are clearly, so that confirms that is a mobile number.
Yeah. Just for a moment, we need to go on a break. Then I'll bring back Mr. Adebayo, because he's telling us that if a prima facie evidence is made against the INEC chairman, on what grounds and what are there are two ways for which the man can leave office. But can we trust Grok, the AI on Twitter? Because again, there is another reporter that INEC has released that there was a statement as released 23 hours before INEC released a statement denying that that position of INEC, a statement that was once tweeted or released online by President Bola Tinubu's social media aide, Dada Olusegun, and that INEC now released that statement 23 hours later. And INEC said whatever that you saw is not linked to INEC. Can we trust Grok? Quickly, Benga.
AI has a footnote that always says that AI could make mistakes. You can trust Grok or any other AI platform with information that it gives you if you cross-check that information, with other details. But can it make mistakes? Of course it can make mistakes. Hallucination is something that AI tools have been known to do. So, but in this case, can you trust Grok, the Twitter or X tool working inside X? I believe so.
All right. Give me a moment. We'll be right back. At our closing moment, we'll be finalizing to find out what exactly is the truth here. And if those who are asking for INEC chairman's neck are right, what are the two ways? My guest will be telling us after this break.
This is a new understanding. Citizens play their part. Government delivers on its promises. Tax is no longer just about compliance. It's the new partnership for a greater Nigeria. The new Nigeria Revenue Service stands not as a tax collector, but as a trusted custodian of what we built together. It's a new deal for a better Nigeria. A greater Nigeria, built by us, funded by us. Message brought to you by Nigeria Revenue Service, NRS.
TerraQ, now available in crayfish. TerraQ, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Is your building's final line of defense formidable? At Swiss Rate Doors, we have redefined what it means to be truly secured with our doors as guardian masterpieces. Our doors boast of visible protection and are rated to withstand high-caliber threats without compromising a single line of your building's aesthetics. Peace of mind is a true luxury with Swiss Rate Doors. Our 50% discount sales offer is still on, and to buy doors at 50% off, contact us today.
And cable. Great quality. Now with the new look.
everyone, for staying with us. Our closing moments now. Before I come back to you, Mr. Gbenga Sheson, so you told us about two ways by which those who are asking for Professor Amupitan to go, and you have said, look, you need more evidence. But quickly, in 30 seconds, your response to Mr. Sheson's analysis.
Mr. Sheson, in a court of law, will be regarded as an IT expert. So he is to tell the court, to assist the court with technical areas that the court may not know or lawyers may not know how to help the court. His opinion as to what INEC should do, whether to write, they should respond or respond, the court will dispense with that. Tell us as an IT person your investigation. What I found out is that the implication of what INEC said was that their own chairman, Amupitan, does not own or operate.
Has never operated or currently operated any Twitter account.
They did not say that there's no Twitter account in his name. So even if you find a Twitter account in his name, Sheson will need to help us, Sheson and Sheson type, will need to help us to demonstrate that beyond all reasonable doubt, there's a possibility that somebody could have access to his email and use it to create it. Anybody, but that he actually is the owner, which means that
quickly, because we are totally out of time. Two ways you told me that if truly they found a prima facie case evidence against him, what are the two ways? We need to close now.
Two ways. One is voluntary. You can resign on your own. The other is removal. But the implication of that is that you will have established beyond reasonable doubt before an institution. That institution is the National Assembly, or you go to a court of law and sue. But outside that, if he's tired of all of this and says my integrity is at stake, why am I doing all of this trouble for? For the public to leave me alone, I resign.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Sheson, we are totally out of time. Can you do me your final thought in 20 seconds?
I am a Nigerian and I want to vote again in 2027. I do not want an INEC chairman who has questions to answer. In a sensible, for someone at this level, I honestly believe that if he is certain that there is nothing he has done wrong, then why doesn't he step aside for an investigation to be completed? But my final comment is to say that INEC has steered the honest nest. Even people that were not interested before are now interested.
All right.
Maybe they shouldn't even have released our statement. Now that they have, everyone who is interested will go to any great length to prove, as now been said, if it is true, reasonable beyond reasonable doubt.
All right.
But I'm glad that we're having this conversation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gbenga Sheson and Prince Adebayo. Many thanks.
Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
And that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Akimale. God bless Nigeria.
Welcome to Eco Africa, where we bring you news of sustainable solutions and inspiring people from all over the continent and beyond, from laughter to lasers and grammars. My name is Chris Elems, and I'm speaking to you from Lagos, Nigeria. My co-host, as ever, is Malama Mukonde in Zambia.
Greetings from Lusaka. We have another fine selection of stories for you. Let's get started.